Alright, so I'm just gonna update everybody. I guess, the people who are on my Facebook probably deserve some type of video for following me throughout the years, especially this year. I'm actually in Davao, Philippines right now. It's like fucking high 80s every single day. And if you were to look at the average weather every month, it's pretty much the same every single month. It fluctuates 1 or 2 degrees here. And it's about 88, 87, 89 degrees high average every month, and it drops about 10 degrees at night, right? 10, and that's the average all year round. And it's kind of like Medellin, Colombia. Medellin theirs is about 80 and it drops down to 70. So this would be like an eternal summer place. Medellin is like the eternal spring place. Overcast, so it's not as bad because there's a lot of overcast here. From since I've been here, I do want to address a couple things. I'm at a Buddhist temple, and I wouldn't say I'm Buddhist. I never really tell people I'm Buddhist, but I wouldn't say so. Not like that. Like I wouldn't say that's like my religion or anything. It's just like the aesthetics is like really pretty at these temples a lot of times. I'll walk around there in a minute, but what was I gonna say? So I think it was last year, right? I did drop the meditation lectures after my Kant lectures. Those are like kind of like a following series of my Kant series. It's actually like real existential philosophy that followed Kant, right? And I did this whole meditation series, and I remember that I didn't meditate that much because I was warning people about the problems of meditation and shit like that, right? I was saying, if you remember, that when you meditate, you kind of like place yourself into the world, right? And in a way, you're placed in a world at no ends, right? You're just like, you kind of like, when you kind of like just give up your ego, you become everything, right? It's kind of simple in a way, and it's not necessarily possible if you can even do it, like truly. Or maybe this is it, It's kind of paradoxical, but me personally, I feel like I got a lot of backlash from the meditation last year. I think that this year I was very sloppy. Like, not sloppy, I was definitely safe, right? Because like I when I told you guys to do that video, I just told you to be safe, right? Be athletic and be safe. I didn't want to harm people, right? But then, so I was definitely safe, and I think that the viewers are definitely safe. But you found yourself like probably too compressed, over compression, because you were focusing too much, right? And you were making a lot of mistakes. I made a lot of mistakes this year, like just like sloppy things, like not dangerous things, which was the main thing, right? But I remember since then, I hopped in a kayak and I was with my friend. We were kayaking at Chatfield, and he paddled in a way, and I didn't really think it was possible, and I didn't think it was like, I didn't think that this would actually happen. But I did hear about this stuff, like you could actually tip a canoe or a kayak. But I was in Chatfield, and then he had his paddle, and he kind of like, he's a bigger guy, really strong, and then he pulled in on his left side. It was close to the boat, and he was in the front of the two-seater. And then when he did it, it kind of pulls you to the left side, right? And we flipped over into the water, right? When that happened, I lost my phone, and my wallet got wet. So me losing a phone, I haven't lost a phone in like it would seem like I had the iPhone 6, the iPhone 8. That was an iPhone 11 that I just kind of barely got. And it's in the bottom of Chatfield, right? It's 12, 20 feet under in murky waters. I didn't even try to find it because I knew I couldn't. The way the water's been soaking up, drying up at Chatfield this year, maybe in like 3 years, it keeps fucking sinking and dries up. I could probably find it one day. But I lost my phone, and it was just like, it's just one of those years, right? I just making like simple mistakes, like, I don't know, like just, I got scammed on Facebook. I tried to buy some blue crabs. This guy was online, like, this guy online was like selling crabs, blue crabs, and he was like, here's a bushel of blue crabs. He sent me 130 or whatever. I sent him 130. It wasn't like too good to be true, but it was like, I wanted him to do it, and then I just kind of did naively. I got scammed that way. I lost just like little things, like I don't know how to say it, but it was just like, and I didn't really care. I just kind of rolled with the punches this year. It was the year of the dragon, right? The year of the dragon. You got the ups and downs, and you just kind of roll with it, right? The good and the bad. But I was just kind of like recollecting about, it was because I actually put some of that because I was meditating, right? When I was meditating, I was telling you to have this extreme focus, and it just kind of hit me that even though we only did it for a couple minutes, I think there's another way to meditate, because the thing about the meditation I was saying is that when you become so far away, and then when you return yourself from being so far, there's a lot of things that could happen on accident, right? It's like if you're like 20 million light years away, and your ego's returning to yourself, this could be all types of, just say like core collisions, cosmic collisions, just whatever coming back to, like, kind of like when your ego's coming back, it's just kind of like, and not to mention like all the stuff on Earth, right? There's a lot of shit going on Earth when it comes to our egos and stuff. We gotta fend off the fucking flies. But traditionally they tell you, like, when you're meditating, you gotta focus, right? And there's the other people that just say, oh, just let it go and just be, just be in a moment, right? Without the focus. And I thought about that. And I thought maybe that's something that people could actually do, right? But at the same time, when you do something like that, right? When you do something like that, you kind of want to, like, focus extraordinarily when you kind of like get from your position, when you switch positions, when you're shifting your positions, right? Again, the Zen tradition is saying that you never fully actuate any like pure pure meditation or state of non-meditation, right? So when you shift the position from one extremity to another, I was telling you just to pay attention, right? So if you were to say that you were in the moment without the focus, when you get out of that, you kind of want to focus, right? I was making you focus during meditation and when you get out of meditation. But you could not focus when you're in meditation, and then when you get out of meditation, you have this extreme focus, right? And I'm considering maybe that's what I should have did, right? But it was just like I was kind of taught different, and that was just the way I was taught. And I don't know if you can see it. There you go. It's a lotus. I think that's a lotus. That's one of the things I wanted to say, for sure. Well, and I don't know. I feel like last year was kind of like, I don't know. It was just the energy for me was just like kind of nothing really fell through for me. Like I didn't really get to do any of my philosophy. I did do that Nietzsche introduction. It's kind of like I like that one. And that's really the only video I really shot, you know, besides the horoscope one. But that wasn't really like, I don't know, I wouldn't say that was like that much of philosophy. I will say some of that stuff today, but it's because I'm in the Philippines. In Asia, the other side of the world, I guess, from where I usually live in. The aesthetics. I kind of want to explain the aesthetics right today. These are bougainvilleas, Bougainvillas, Bougainvilla, bougainvillas. These are like really pretty. I grew one in my house, and these are like, I have like so many of these pictures in the Philippines. But if you were to see these leaves, like they're like paper-ish. The texture of it is like paper, really soft and like. And then they kind of are like the leaves at the same time. And when I grew it in my house, it grew pretty well, but they require a lot of water. So if you're not able to water it all the time, they're gonna fucking die. So I'd recommend these plants if you're able to water them a lot, right? But they're very beautiful. Colorado's hard to grow because, you know, it gets hot, I guess, in the summer. Indoors, I grew them indoors and they just vined out. There's just so many out here. It's just filled with bougainvillas. Let's see what we got here. I wouldn't know what this plant is, but it's pretty, right? More bougainvillas. I'm gonna show you guys some. Looks like the avatars are here. That right there is the goddess of compassion. I don't know what it is in English, and I can't say it because I'm not sure how to say it in Vietnamese, but it's spelled Quanly, which means compassion, I believe. It's the goddess of compassion. Look at this bamboo. It's like a red bamboo. But initially, I did kind of like say a couple things about like power and stuff like that this year. I might get into it. But what I was going to do was talk about power. And what I was going to do is use the example of the Asian aesthetics as power, okay? And I'm going to do a little bit of that today. Use this tree right here. One thing is, no matter what temple you go to, Buddhist temples, there's always like squirrels, cats, rats, anything animal. They're usually welcomed in a Buddhist temple, right? And I do that because like I see this cat right here, right? It's different. Buddhists are a lot of times vegetarians because they care about the pain of others. Christianity is totally not like that. As a religion, obviously, they can be very hateful. And I'm not just hating. I'm just telling you the truth, and you just gotta like. But this tree right here, right? If you look at this tree, how is this tree power? It's funny how the wind just kicks up. But what's going on about the power, the aesthetic power? This is like really fucking. I know this is just like a weird video. Like this is like a off. I just feel like I don't know. I started it off with a awkward minute, right? I like this place. When you look at a bonsai, and this has to do with power again. I just want you to remind you, like, this is what I'm talking about, okay? And part of the reason why I like bonsai so much, there's like a philosophy behind it, right? And it's pretty much, in Western philosophy, like, I want to be the person to kind of like show the Western world and use the bonsai aesthetics to do my philosophy, right? If you look here, right? If you look at the trunk, right? They say the older, you could tell how old a bonsai is by looking at the trunk. And the trunk is a lot of times what makes it beautiful. It's like driftwood, right? It's kind of like in the ocean, and it gets prettier as the pieces of old wood decays and gets just kind of like shines the wood or something, kind of like polishes it in a way, right? Driftwood. A lot of times, like you're in the country or in the desert or whatever, in the mountains, you see the wood's old, but it's like the water has really, the rain, the snow, whatever it is, it kind of, I'm getting attacked by these bugs, but I'll take a seat. Oh, look at the dragons. Dragonfly. I don't know if you can see it. But so going back to the bonsai and power. So a lot of these bonsais are older than us, older than the United States of America. It's one of the examples like we like to use when we talk about age, right? Things are older than your country. Bonsais are like 5, 6, 7, 800, some thousand years old. But it kind of shows the age, right? And it could be compact or something. So it has a lot of like texture and definition, even on the wood, right? Especially on the wood, I guess you could say. So when I look at trees, I appreciate the trunk and the wood, and like how old it is, what it's been through. It's been through World War II. It's been through, you know, just all types of stuff, right? Years and years, like every year it goes through. One year it went through -4 degrees in the mountains. You know, even though it's like 80 years old, 800 years old, it's only like 3 feet tall, and the trunk kind of shows it, and that's what makes it beautiful, right? This idea that I'm talking about is kind of hedonistic, okay? This is like hedonism. This is, in a way, a will to power, thought out to the end. It's very unique to me, I guess, because I didn't learn any of this in school. I mean, I learned this stuff in school, but it's like nobody that I learned it from put it together the way I have. Right? This is like my ethics, right? And I'm giving you my ethics, will to power, in a way, and my ethics, and I'm using bonsai trees. So what makes a bonsai tree beautiful is that it gets more beautiful as it ages, right? Just like nature. You look at the mountains, and you go to the mountains, and you gotta think that it took millions of years of rain to hit the rock for it to form the way it formed, right? And then you have waterfalls, cascades, and trees that are old, that are just going through this process that I just kind of described. Humans, we make the bonsais, right? In a way, we bend the trees and stuff like that. And I was gonna use, like, I had pictures of earlier this year from Nam Dinh, Vietnam, and they're very beautiful. But I just I needed to make room in storage. I just never got to any of my stuff this year, and it's okay. And I apologize. I know some of y'all were expecting it. But I always wanted to shoot this video about bonsais this year, and I always knew it was gonna be random, like nothing like how I would do on a typical YouTube video, right? And this is the random video, and I think today is a good day to do it. But okay, so you got the bonsai tree, right? And I just actually read this the other day, and it kind of made a lot of sense. But when you see a bonsai, there's like a equilibrium, right? Or like I guess you say equilibrium, and there's like a thing about how it contrasts equally and how it's just like kind of like the contrast equilibrium and the normal equilibrium. And when it comes to aesthetics, right, it's really just how you like it, right? But one thing about a bonsai tree, or one thing about grass, right, or just like a bonsai tree, it doesn't require that much energy, right? And when people think of like will to power, right, will to power, people want to think like you want something like extraordinary powerful. Like bonsai trees, again, they've been there forever, and they're powerful because they withstand trials of time over centuries, right? And at the same time, they're fucking beautiful, right? uh, looking at this stuff, when you admire it, it gives you some type of joy, right? And and being a bonsai, I guess you place yourself in your immediate space along with the bonsais. Being a bonsai, when you look at yourself, when you find yourself in nature, you look at yourself, you kind of like have this appreciation, right? You don't really need that much, right? When I'm in the fucking mountains, I'm like, okay, cool. What's all this other shit, right? I don't need any of this other shit. Like, this is just some beautiful ass shit, you know? And that's it's pretty simple, right? And getting into some Nietzsche, it doesn't cause resentment to be beautiful in this sense, right? It doesn't. So if we could look at life as something that's aging, right? And it doesn't really, it's not being competitive, right? Like when people say, okay, people said, okay, our culture is so competitive. They would say that the problem with the world is, at least in America, is people have this infatuation with lawns, right? Just the grass. And people have this, neo-thinking type idea about growing stuff, that when you're growing grass or whatever, instead of growing grass in your lawn, why don't you grow plants to eat, right? Why don't you grow, such a waste of water, waste of everything. And I actually agree with all that, right? But the thing is this, though, right? It just kind of shows us how much we are starving in society when we, at home, have a job and then go home and gotta fucking do another job, right? And I actually wouldn't mind being a farmer, right? But I'm just saying that how much we consume, I'm pointing out how much we consume, how much, what kind of mind state that we are in, right? When we could just, water a plant and bend it a couple times for a couple 100 years, and it's going to give us joy, compared to us doing something competitive, right? Or us consuming, right? The type of consumption our lives has taken us, where even when after our jobs we have to consume, right? And I'm not saying like, yeah, it'd be nice to like have a fucking farm. I could actually do something like that, It is nice. But I'm talking about the power of what we can appreciate, right? It's non-resentful, right? All these other things that we find beautiful, a lot of times it will cause resentment, right? And who can attain it? And again, resentment is when we live this pain again and again and again, right? We're in the ocean of resentment, right? I want to talk about some Jewish people now, right? And the anti-Israeli Jews have said, not again to no one, right? Because, what's going on in society is the Israeli Jews are doing to the Palestinians what the Germans did to the Jews, right? Not again to no one, right? And we are in this antagonistic state of resentment, right? Where one where we just live in a world of power shifts, right? And it's about who could do it to who, rather than is there a system where we could just kind of like diminish this antagonistic state, right? So I want to talk about power in the sense where we are helpless, right? Power, when you look at what I'm talking about, right? When I talk about power is to enjoy different things, it's because it's actually more powerful than anything that the common person thinks of power today, right? People think that power today is having money, right? And maybe owning a military or something shit like that, right? But if the world shifted its non-antagonistic ways of thinking and was able to get rid of the resentment, right? The power of everything that we would do would be more fluid, right? Would be more, if we were to invest in the future rather than investing in power, a different type of power, that would be more powerful, right? If we were to just keep on investing in the world's power and the future, every generation will be more powerful, right? Not just the people at this time. The world would just, it hits like a flash, right? Nietzsche talks about will of power as a flash, right? Not necessarily a flash, but there is a flash, right? It's like a stick of dynamite. It just kind of explodes, right? And the way I describe it is like lightning and then the thunder, right? You get the lightning, flash, boom. And then the thunder, so it's like doom, 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 and then you feel the thunder afterwards, right? So the power in this sense, and I know I'm not really getting into it. This is just like a random video, just to throw that idea out, right? We'll get into it, and I feel like I'm getting closer. I prepare mentally for all this stuff all the time. Like even though I don't make a video for a fucking year, my mind now is like I'm ready for this Nietzsche video in a way, more ready than I ever was. I just don't have that mental attachment that I did when I originally shot it, right? When I originally shot my Nietzsche video and that I accidentally deleted, I had a lot of emotion into it. I was in the middle, we were in the middle of the pandemic, right? How do I recreate that emotion inside a video when I'm not in a pandemic no more, right? It's kind of like, it was kind of hard, right? After I deleted that video, I was trying to grasp onto what I had, right? And I shot a couple more videos, and I redid a different intro, and I got that intro saved. But I haven't been able to reproduce mentally the video with the logic in there. It's been an improvement, but it's just that emotional connection to the audience that I don't have, right? This video right here is just kind of like easing in onto it. But the people that you think that have power, the presidents, the billionaires, whoever, they're really fucking weak in this sense that they're not generational, right? They're not generational power, where the things that they do affects the generations in a positive form, where it kind of just, it flashes and everything follows, right? Nobody in the world could stop, I guess, can stop Israel and Palestine right now. Even if we kill Netanyahu, there might be someone else that could that would just step in Netanyahu's, Israel's prime minister's job and continue what he's doing, right? There's just so many things that these billionaires can't do, and they're really, and actually shows how weak they are, because they have all these things that people say is powerful, but they're actually weak, right? How do you get people to come together and put into the future generations, right? So the future generations have more power. Buy into the power, right? We invest into the power, and keep investing into the power, keep investing into the power, and we look at it in terms of hedonism, right? I mean, not utilitarianism. Like, we're complaining about shit like, oh, utilitarian philosophy will never work, or just whatever, right? But it's not a bad idea, right? Communism is not, when you look at what they want, it's a lot better than capitalism, right? Because it's just something better. Like, it's just striving to something better, right? And people, I don't know why you could just hate on something that, let's just strive to be better. Instead, let's just be this capitalistic society where people are already in, right? And all I'm saying is that it's just a shift of power in this antagonistic society. It's like, who could do what to who, rather than let's let everybody do what they want by investing into the future generations, right? So we have this whole thing, this whole wealth, and it kind of just flashes. Like, you kind of got to place that flash in there, right? And it keeps flashing into this light, to this big ball of power. Do you know what I mean? But a lot of these people are weak, right? The billionaires, like all the billionaires, they're weak when it comes to this sense, right? They can't change the way we think, right? When it comes to what is good, what is bad, what do we choose to invest into, as in morality, right? Okay, this is the last part I want to talk about. This is this is the loosest video I ever shot and I'm gonna put out. Power, if it has to do with you, yourself, the gratification of yourself, the things that you want to do, that's not really power. That's just you gratifying yourself, right? You're just a fucking animal, right? You're doing what any greedy, selfish, egotistical animal would do, right? Where morality comes in is that you got to consider other people. You got to be willing to help other people. That is the realm of morality. Like, if it's not about morals, we shouldn't even talk about it, right? We shouldn't. This person has $1 million. What they fucking do? It's not. It has nothing to do with us. Like, it has nothing to do with us, right? It has to do with morals, right? This person wants to help other people. That is more powerful than anything, right? The person that has nothing, that can help you do something, compared to somebody with $1 million that doesn't want to help nobody. We want to think that the person with $1 million is more powerful, but that's not power, right? The power when it comes to morality is something else. Power when it comes to morality is the power that, if we were to invest in generationally for the future, it could go in, if you kind of think it out, it could go in like a exponential growth in a way, right? If everybody thought the same way about morality, investing into the future rather than themselves or what they really thought, the world would be a lot different, right? People have to think anyways. They already have your fucking weird ideas. Why not talk about morality, right? I don't know, this video is kind of weird. I started this whole video Just like, I don't know, fuck it, I wanted to leave the awkwardness in it. But just think about this, right? I know it's like, it's not like, this is not my typical philosophy video. I got my other videos I want to do, for sure. I don't really know if I get to it. But I think I will get into maybe like, I will try to get the Plato's Mino video out. But after I do the Plato's Mino video, I'm going to stick with it, right? Because I do want to do the Plato's Mino video before I do the Nietzsche video. And I do want to do the Kant reviews. Because once I do the Kant review videos, I am going to be at my prime again, right? Me watching my videos and making a video on my own videos, I will be at the height of my own. If I were to just drop everything now and start working on my Kant videos, I'd be the sharpest I ever was. I'd be the best. But I'm going to challenge myself. I'm going to do the Mino video, and then the 2 Kant videos, and then the Nietzsche video. So after I do the second Kant video, I for sure will be the sharpest I ever. I will just be sick, yo, as a philosopher. And obviously, if you guys look at the Kant videos that I already have, the ones that I already have, 1 through 4, anyone like really that was able to pay attention to it already should know that that shit was not no fucking joke. I don't play around. So I don't just throw out bullshit. This video is like probably like, you can consider it just like really sloppy. Sometimes when I did the videos, when I did the meditation videos, I just shot it. I didn't want to like cut it up, right? You got to realize when I'm in school, right? If I had many hours to like, if I had the 40 hours a semester to do a video or to do lectures, I would just keep giving y'all the base of philosophy. I don't have that luxury, right? So anyways, I know that the whole thing about power and the bonsais, the aesthetics and all that stuff. The bonsais, you see the branches, right? And it holds on to these little patches of power, right? And when you look at it, you have a taste of it, right? Like, you dislike it or you like it or whatever. But the leaves on it represents a type of power, right? Pockets of power, and it's being suspended like clouds or something like that, right? It just gets more beautiful as you stare into it. It is like it's like generational, right? Think of power that way, as non-conflicting, right? Other gardens, they will have plants that, you know, that'll overgrow other plants, and like they stunt the growth of other plants, right? You gotta like weed out things sometimes, right? You gotta pull weeds out of your garden sometimes. Bonsais are a little different, right? All right. I know it's fucking weird. I think I'll get a chance to like really do a video by the time the New Year's, the Lunar Dragon is over, which I think is the end of January. Hopefully it's the Plato's Mino at least. The Kant videos won't take that long for sure. The Mino video, I get more into it. I'm still getting, when I actually try to shoot it before too, and this one's a lot better. This one's gonna be a lot better. The Nietzsche is gonna be pretty much the same, just a little better like mentally, but the emotional part is like when I'm trying to like match, right? Being in a pandemic. Anyways, power, right? Power. Remember power, resentment, aesthetics, all that. Okay, just try to like. I know it's very loose, but it's just like an introduction again. Peace.